Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this Warcraft Rumble New Player Beginner's Guide, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to get a good start in Warcraft Rumble. The general progression in Warcraft Rumble is based on sigils. You get sigils for completing campaign missions, and as you gain more sigils, you unlock more and more game modes. And most of these game modes are super important for your progress, especially Arclight Surges that unlock at 16 sigils, events that unlock at 22 sigils, dungeons that unlock at 30 sigils, and finally raids and sieges that unlock at 90 sigils. So you want to unlock and start doing this content because that is then going to give you the resources to upgrade your minis, upgrade your account, and build your dream armies. The first meaningful choice that you're presented with in the game is to choose your first leader. You will quite quickly collect all of the leaders and you will upgrade quite a few of them, so nothing is lost no matter what you choose here. But choosing a strong leader is going to be beneficial, of course, for your early progress. You're going to be presented with 3 options and they are random from the pool of leaders, so you might not always get as good of a leader. Sometimes you get a really strong one, sometimes you get some weaker options, but there should be quite a few strong options, so you should always be able to pick up something useful. And I have listed the leaders here in the order in which I would pick them for my first leader. This is not a tier list of the leaders as such, because for example leaders like Jaina Proudmoore see tons of endgame play, and I list Jaina here in tier D, because typically for your first leader you want kind of a brawler, you want someone who can really affect the game on his or her own, so that this leader is going to be a very important part of your army. It's going to be the one that you're going to get an early talent for, you're going to get early levels for, it's going to be a cornerstone of your team. And by far the best leader to do this would be Sylvanas Windrunner after the buff, because Sylvanas Windrunner is just, it's premium leader and just incredibly powerful. And then next up in tier A, I would say Baron Rivendare, Tyrion Fordring, Grommash Hellscream, General Drakizet can all fulfill this kind of role. Well, they play a key role in your army and just help you succeed. But all of the leaders are quite alright. Tier F, Chaga. Chaga I actually think is one of the strongest leaders, but Chaga really changes the way you play the game. She has a very unique mechanic. So picking Chaga as your first leader is not advisable, because then you just don't learn how to play the game normally. You're sometimes presented with choices to acquire leaders or other minis, but the main way that you get new minis and the way you upgrade your minis is to buy them from the grid. So you buy one of the minis that's offered on the grid, and when you buy it, it resets the row and the column that it's from. It re-rolls all of those slots. Those slots are now gone and they're replaced with something else. Troops are always available, but leaders are offered on a multi-week rotation, so you only get offered leaders from one family at a time. In general, you want to buy as many different minis as you can. You really want to collect every single mini in the game. But weaker ones can wait at common, you don't have to upgrade them further. Stronger ones, you want to get them to uncommon so that you can get talents for them. Talents are really strong, and then even beyond that for extra levels and more talent options. And sometimes you're offered direct uncommons, rares, and even epics on the grid. So when you buy that, then you skip all of the upgrading and you directly get that rarity level of a mini. Like here I'm offered an uncommon Tyrion showcased by the green border and the higher cost. And blue would be rare and purple would be epic. And if it's a mini that you want to upgrade and you're offered direct upgrade, then that is a wonderful thing to buy from the grid. Because upgrades do 2 things to a mini. First of all, they unlock more talent slots, and second, they give bonus levels for the mini. So first you buy a mini, you buy 1 star for a mini from the grid, and it's going to be a common, no talent, nothing special. Then you can get it to uncommon by buying 3 more stars and then upgrading it, and that will open the first talent slot, and it will also give it 1 bonus level. And every talent you own for a mini also gives it 1 bonus level, so uncommon with a talent is actually 2 levels that just came out of nowhere. And then for rare, you need 10 stars more in order to unlock rare, and then you need to upgrade to it, and you get another talent slot and you get another bonus level. So again, 2 levels just out of nowhere. For epic, another 25 stars that will unlock the third and final talent slot and give the mini another bonus level. And finally there's legendary, 25 stars, and legendary only gives actually the mini 1 bonus level. It doesn't give any new talent slots or anything else, but that 1 bonus level is going to be important in endgame PvP if that's what you're aiming for, so that's where legendaries become really important. Note that at uncommon you can only buy 1 talent and you cannot switch the talent. You are offered talents randomly in the grid, so you might not be offered a talent that you actually want, but then you have to wait until you're offered the one that you want to buy and only then buy the talent. Because once you buy a talent for uncommon, you can't change, then you need to get the mini to rare to unlock a new talent slot so that you would be able to get another talent if you picked a talent that you didn't really like. I have a guide video that showcases all the best talents for all the minis in this game, so you can refer to that if you are wondering what talent to pick for each mini. Troops are offered on the grid all the time, but leaders are only offered during their family week. So it's a rotation. That's 1 week. For example, right now there's Alliance week when I'm recording this. So Alliance leaders are being offered. Next week is going to be a Beast week. Then Beast leaders are going to be offered. Then Horde week. Horde leaders are going to be offered. So it will take you several weeks to pick up all of the leaders. But try to get one leader from each family as quickly as possible, because you will need them in order to progress through heroics. And you don't want to wait all of those weeks, so you want to make good use of leader choices. Sometimes you're presented with a choice. You can choose a leader to add to your collection and try to use these choices also to pick up leaders from families that you don't have yet. Split family leaders are the best. They are premium leaders. They're a little bit stronger than the others. There's one basic split family leader, which is Sylvanas, Horde and Undead, available through normal means. And then there's 3 that are limited availability. But if you're starting with the PC launch, there's currently an event going in which you will unlock all 3 limited availability split leaders over the next couple of weeks. So you really want to get into that. There's Malfurion for Alliance and Cenarion, Anubarak for Beast and Undead, and Orgrim Doomhammer for Horde and Blackrock. Getting a good collection of minis is also important to increase your collection level, because collection level determines how much XP you get from all sources. And you get collection level when you get minis, when you level up minis, and when you upgrade the rarity of these minis. You don't get collection level for buying talents for them, but you kind of want to buy those talents anyway. So you're going to get more and more XP, because the XP requirement required to level up minis, that's going to increase exponentially. The final level currently in the game requires 200,000 XP. So that's quite a difference from the 1 and 3 and 5 and stuff that you see very early in the game. So for example, here collection level 57, every quest is 450 XP. Mega XP boost is 25,000 XP. So yeah, those XP requirements, but also the XP that you gain is going to increase a lot from the early days. The game actually gives you a pretty strong starter team, because your starter troops are Griffin Rider, Darkspear Troll, Gnoll Brute, Chain Lightning and Safe Pilot. And I would say that Griffin Rider, Darkspear Troll and Safe Pilot are actually good minis that probably are going to see play even in the end game. Gnoll Brute and Chain Lightning a little bit less so, but still, so these minis are not bad at all, and the early team that you get is fairly well rounded. It could use a better tank. The Gnoll is not very good, and it could use some area damage, because right now only Safe Pilot and then Chain Lightning, which is kind of small amount of damage, they contribute area damage, so some kind of good AoE damage dealer would be very useful in order to upgrade this starter team. You're going to be offered minis randomly on the grid, so it might take a little bit of time in order to get all of the minis. But these are the minis that I would target first, and these are the minis that I would pick up immediately when they're offered to me. So first of all, there's Harpies, which are high damage flyers. There's Quillboar, cheap unbound tank. Whelpex, powerful unbound damage dealer. Witch Doctor, cheap area damage dealer. Pyromancer, another great area damage dealer. Defiance Bandits, good for stunning, cycling. Chimera, a premium poison mini. Plague Farmer, another good poison mini. Poison is very powerful mechanic in this game, and Execute, which a pure damage spell, so it just deals damage to anything. You are able to get some of these from choices that you're presented with early in the game, and also there are some specific minis that you can get from the sigil track once you get some sigils. In particular, there's always going to be the same trio offered to you, for example, at 9 sigils and at 18 sigils, and then a couple of times after. The trio is Harpies, Huntress and Necromancer. I think Harpies are the strongest out of these. Some people do like the Huntress a lot, so Huntress would be an option. Necromancer is clearly a little bit weaker than these other two. And you kind of want to pick the same one for 9 sigils and 18 sigils, because at 9 sigils you get it at common, then at 18 sigils you get 3 more stars for it, so that makes it uncommon. That gives you access to first talent. And then when you get the Harpies with the poison talent, then that Harpy with poison talent is just going to rip through so many things. So that's my advice for picking Harpies at 9 sigils, and at 18 sigils grab the poison talent for them and just let them roll. There are more than 20 leaders and tens of troops in this game, so you have a lot of options for building your army, although many people do prefer the top tier minis for building, but even some of the lower tier minis can be useful in some specific circumstances at least. And at start, you probably want to start by building a balanced army. Once you get into heroics and into raids and things, then you want to start building specific armies to counter the compositions of the enemies. But building a basic balanced army is going to get you far. So you want to pay attention to the average cost. For example, here I have an average cost of 2.9. That's quite cheap actually. It can go a little bit over 3. But if it starts to get like to 3.6 or 4 or something, then your army is probably going to be too expensive. You will have difficulty playing stuff and cycling through your deck, and that's going to be a problem. So if you add expensive minis to your deck, you also need to add some really cheap minis to balance it all out. You preferably want to have 1 or 2 unbound units to react. Unbound units are units that can be played anywhere on the map at any time. Other units can only be played close to your base and to your towers and meeting stones. So for example, in this army I have a Quillbore and I have a Safe Pilot, which are unbound and can be played anywhere. You kind of want at least 1 tank so that someone is able to take some hits. Here I have Quillbore as a tank and I have Prowler as a tank. This army actually doesn't have a really big tank, but sometimes you also might build into with something like an Abomination, really huge tank, and maybe some healers behind it, and then just let it go and let it go. And in addition to tank, you also want some area of effect damage typically, because there's some squad minis coming at you, and if you can't explode them away, if you try to hit them one by one, then that's really slow. So for example, here I have Pyromancer and I have Safe Pilot doing that. You want something that hits really hard. Well, Harpies and the Prowler here are hitting quite hard, and you want a mix of flyers and ground units, so something that flies and something that goes on the ground typically. Of course, you can also build more specific armies, but just building a generic, well-balanced army with a good average cost is going to take you very far in this game. Warcraft Rumble is a free-to-play game, but Blizzard obviously wants to make money with this, so you can buy stuff in the store. And there's also going to be a lot of bundles that are going to be offered to you. Not as many as in many of the mobile games that I have tried, but still many bundles are going to arrive. Time limit bundles offered to you regular intervals so that, okay, time is running out and you have to make a decision. Do you buy them or do you not? You want to mainly evaluate them based on how many coins they give you, because coins are the gated currency for you at the start. And also mini stars that would cost coins anyway, so 90 coins for troops, 120 coins for leaders. The XP tomes and things like that are typically bad early on, and then they get better as you gain more collection level and as you get deeper into the game. So for example, this is actually a really good offer. It's the starter pack that gives you 10 stars for Sylvanas and some coins, some tomes, some Arc Energy, and a little bit of XP for Sylvanas as well. So Sylvanas being a premium leader then means that getting Sylvanas early on, getting Sylvanas to a position where you can get talent on Sylvanas, and you want to get Queen's Reach probably at the start, so Sylvanas will have increased range, and then Sylvanas is just going to shoot everything down from range, so that's going to be really powerful. And at 299, obviously Blizzard tries to make this attractive to get you to start spending. The best upgrade in the game is currently offered to you when you reach 11 sigils. It's the Arclight Booster, which is a permanent upgrade to your account. So you're going to get more coins and you're going to get more XP for the entire lifetime of the account, so you can think of this as buying the game, sort of. And it is actually very, very strong. XP gain is of minor importance, but the coin gain is significant. If you plan to play Rumble, let's say for a year, then you can get more than 30,000 coins out of this. So you can compare that to other offers and see that this is really, really good. Another strong offer among the sea of time-limited bundles is the Azeroth's Blessing. It's a monthly subscription type of package. You need to log in every day to redeem your rewards, and you get rewards for a month. And if you manage to log in on most of the days, then the value on that is better than of any of the time-limited bundles that you're going to be offered. So the top value things to buy in this game are the Arclight Booster, the Azeroth's Blessing, and then that starter pack for Sylvanas. And then, of course, they're going to offer you a lot of other stuff that you may want to buy or may not want to buy. But these are currently the best offers, and they are better than any of the time-limited offers that have been offered so far. And on the topic of money, we naturally arrive at PvP in Rumble. PvP unlocks at 8 sigils. Remember that there's a lot of PvE content in Rumble. There's the campaign, there's co-op missions, there's tons of PvE, but there's also PvP. But Rumble PvP is quite heavily pay to win. You can expect to spend hundreds, if not over $1,000 if you want to get into high-level PvP quickly. You can grind a high-level PvP team, but it will take months, even if you grind as much as you can. You're actually going to get an easy start into PvP because each leader that you take into PvP is going to face bots for the first 19 games. You can tell they're bots by them not being in a guild and them having minis at the same level as you are, and only after that you're going to start facing human opponents. And there's no level caps in Rumble PvP, so if your team is level 3, you might face a team that's level 10. And there's no way you can win that. The mini level in PvP is determined so that it's the level in PvE divided by 3 and rounded up. So the maximum level you can currently face in PvP is 11, which is level 31, which is the maximum level that can be accomplished in PvE side of things. And with the way levels work in Warcraft Rumble, they're exponential. The level power of minis is exponential. So the level difference is always the only thing that matters. A level 1 fighting against level 2 is the exact same difference as a level 20 fighting against level 21. So you can always tell how difficult something is by the level difference. Typically, 1 level in PvP is, it's somewhat doable. Of course, you're at a disadvantage. 2 levels in PvP, okay, if you're really good and the opponent is not that good, you might still be able to do that. 3 levels in PvP, that's where the exponential part really hits, and it's nigh impossible already. So be aware that the PvP side of Rumble is heavily pay to win, but of course you can go give it a try. At first you're going to face those bots, you can get some free XP basically by beating up those bots, and once you start meeting human beings, well, then you will see what I mean. After you have unlocked PvP, the next thing that you're going to unlock are guilds. Guilds are unlocked at 10 sigils, and guilds offer many rewards for players, so you should always join a guild, because some of the events are guild content, there's season-based guild rewards, and co-op games are also easier with guild members. You gain access to co-op only at 90 sigils, though, so it's going to take a while. It is super easy to switch guilds, so you can join just pretty much any guild, and then you can move on to another guild later on. That's completely fine. The guild interface in the game is not very good, so if you want to find a real active guild, then your best bet is to find it outside of the game, for example in the community Discord. 16 sigils is a very important milestone because that unlocks Arclight Surges, and Arclight Surges are your main repeatable source of coins, and coins are the things that are going to gate your progress early on. You can get 800 coins out of these per week, or 1200 if you have bought the Arclight booster, because you get plus 50% coins with that. There's going to be a new surge 4 times a week. They come on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday, and each of them is going to last for 3 days, so they overlap a little bit, giving you a bit of leeway on when you want to complete them. 22 sigils is another important milestone that unlocks events. Some of the events are doable solo, and for others you want to be in a guild, and events are a significant source of coins, stars and XP. And events are something that Blizzard has been leaning more and more into. In Rumble nowadays we have events coming basically all the time, and these events often include tasks to buy things from the grid or to upgrade your minis, this type of tasks. So saving resources for the events and then making use of those resources during the event to also complete the challenge and get rewards from the events, that's an important part of the gameplay at the moment. 30 sigils is one of the most important milestones because it unlocks dungeons, and in dungeons you can upgrade the army slots of your leaders. The army slots give bonus levels to minis with a matching trait, and they can be upgraded from bronze to silver to gold, and then through raids you can also upgrade them to diamond finally. And gold is going to give plus 3 levels to a mini that's in that slot, and diamond is going to give plus 4 levels. So these are very important in getting your minis to shape. You need to reach dungeon level 22 to unlock maximum slots, full golden slots for a particular leader, and these are leader specific, so you need to do them with each leader. These are working also on family rotation, so only leaders of the current weekly family can enter the dungeon and then grind it up as high as they can. Dungeons currently end at level 23. Level 23 is something you can repeat each week, and you're going to get coins for repeating level 23 with each of your leaders as well. So they're another source of repeatable coins, but only once you're able to clear them at level 23. And that's going to require an army that's around level 20 to 22. At 50 sigils, you unlock the Heroic Campaign. And Heroic Campaign is super important for your progress. It's going to give you lots of coins, it's going to give you lots of XP, and it's going to give you more sigils as well. The first clear of each mission is going to give you an XP tome. And then once you clear a mission, Heroic mission with 5 families, it's going to give you 200 coins, 300 if you have the booster, and it's going to give you a sigil. And if you clear it with a split leader, then the split leader is going to give you 2 tomes, and it's going to give you progress with 2 families for that one single clear. And heroics are the way to progress past 80 sigils. There's currently 80 campaign missions, and then you can do heroics on top. The campaign unlocks at 50 sigils. Each heroic campaign mission is 10 levels more difficult than the original, so once you're at 50 sigils you can actually start doing some of the earliest heroics as well. And finally, at 90 sigils, you unlock Sieges and Rage, which are the co-op content. So these are 2-player co-op battles. You can do these with guild members, or you can do this through an open queue. Obviously, open random queue, you don't know what kind of teammate you're going to get. Whereas with guild members, you can go even into voice comm and just have very coordinated action. Sieges are the most simple one of these, and they can be done fairly easily, whereas some of the raid encounters actually may require quite good coordination. There are unique, powerful rewards available from raids and sieges, like super-powered army slots. The diamond army slots are here, the boost slot for your minis is here. There's just really good stuff coming from sieges and raids. Finally, a couple of tips about playing the game. So what do you actually do when you're in a fight? One thing is that gold is really important. Mining is really important. Preventing mining is really important. Get more gold than your opponent. When you have more gold than your opponent, you have more resources, you can play more units, and more units usually just wins. Also, all units have weaknesses, so use units that counter others. Sometimes you can build an army that counters the army of your opponent, and sometimes you just have to notice that, okay, some of my minis counter some of theirs counter some of mine, so then you need to try to get into positions where you can play your minis so that they will be able to counter the one that they're strong against. Also, you can build your pushes. You don't have to spend all of your gold immediately as you earn it. Sometimes it's good to save a little bit and then play multiple minis, and sometimes you just want to sprinkle it out, so various strategies. And also, unbound units are very, very strong. They can be played anywhere on the map, so they can be used to distract enemies. One of the main strategies in the game is to use Quillbore or Earth Elemental, an unbound tank, to turn an enemy around while your DPS approaches from the other side, so that they can just hit it in the back. Also, unbound units can take chests, for example. So there's chests, and those chests have gold in them, and you can drop an unbound there, and it can grab the chest for you. In Warcraft Rumble, you can't micromanage your units, so it's all about timing and positioning. But there's actually quite a lot to that positioning. For example, if you're playing a squad mini that has multiple minis in it, and you place them on the line between 2 deployment zones, then those minis are going to go 2 ways, so you can split push with squad minis like that. You can also place regular units without scrolling. You don't always have to go to your deployment zone and put your mini down there. If you just place a mini somewhere close to that deployment zone and it's not a legitimate place where you can place it, unbounds can be placed anywhere of course, but others need a deployment zone, then the mini is going to go into that deployment zone and you don't have to actually scroll all the way to the deployment zone to play it. So there's all sorts of these small things about positioning and small things about timing that you can use to gain an advantage, even though there's no micromanagement in Rumble. So with that, welcome to Warcraft Rumble, good luck, and I hope you have fun. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.